JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine?
There you go again. So then the vice president pipes in on the little argument. So you could really look at it like they could spin it to make it look like he was getting bullied by two people and everyone was bullying him.
Yeah.
I do think Zelensky came with an attitude problem a little bit. You can see his body language.
Yeah, it's all defensive. Yeah.
So, like you said,
but
though,
we don't know before that meeting what was said and done, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because why else would there be that atmosphere there, right? So we don't know. We don't know what conversations they had behind the scenes. We don't know.
We don't know.
And it does come across to me like JD Vance was like the one stirring the pot.
He started that first.
Yeah.
I think he said something first. Then, right, we are back again, and this is Tash and Dean. What in the world? And we're just up here to talk about world events, topics, things that's going on in the world, and we really enjoy talking to each other, don't we, Dean? And this is sort of really popular.
Yeah.
You know, I just
about this wacky, crazy world that we live in now.
Exactly.
Time's gone on as I get older. The more I'm thinking, I used to watch, sometimes even in black and white on Anne's house, Looney Tunes. Okay.
I like that.
the more things happen as time's going on, the more I'm thinking Looney Tunes makes more sense.
Well, it does. We're in a Looney Tune world, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right. I'll say no more. I'll let you carry on.
What is going on? And it's just, I don't know, I just like talking about world events and politics and things that's going on, because you've got to be informed, haven't you? You know,
yeah.
You can't live like nothing's happening. There's so much going on. So,
yeah,
you brought something, didn't you, that I'm going to put on. It was to do with Donald Trump. Not everybody likes him. I know. Not everybody likes him.
He's a very controversial figure among a lot of people.
He is, isn't he?
He's a bit like Marmite. Some people love him, some people hate him. That's just the way it is.
That's the way it is. It is the way it is. But he's getting things done. And this was about protecting Christians' rights, wasn't it? Something like that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Play this clip so people can see it. Let's go.
Our Attorney General, who's a great person, she's going to be a great Attorney General, Pam Bondi. The head of a task force, brand new, to eradicate anti-Christian bias. The mission of this task force will be to immediately halt all forms of anti-Christian targeting and discrimination within the federal government, including at the DOJ, which was absolutely terrible, the IRS, the FBI, terrible, and other agencies. In addition, the task force will work to fully prosecute anti-Christian violence and vandalism in our society and to move heaven and earth to defend the rights of Christians and religious believers nationwide. This week, I'm also creating the White House Faith Office, led by Pastor Paula White, who is so amazing. While I'm in the White House, we will protect Christians in our schools, in our military, in our government, in our workplaces, hospitals, and in our public squares. And we will bring our country back together as one nation under God with liberty.
Wow.
There you go.
Awesome.
I was very impressed with that when I heard that. Similar coming out of Keir Starmer's mouth, but I get the feeling that won't happen somehow.
I don't think you're going to see Keir Starmer siding with Christians or having any sort of backing for Christians at all.
No, I think if anything, it'd be the opposite. More likely to condemn us and criticise us and want to throw us in prison, I think, by the looks of things.
Yeah, I don't think he's not very popular with Christians, is he, really?
No. I mentioned this before about the majority versus the minority, and it's like, even in terms of religion around the world, Christianity is the major superpower on that front. It's the largest numbers. So if there's a large amount of people that are Christian in your country, if you are a political leader, why would you want to upset those people when they're the majority? Is it that we're just easy targets because Jesus said turn the other cheek? taught in the Bible to be peaceful, not to be violent. Jesus never said, "I'll pick up a sword and chop someone's head off."
No, he didn't.
If they
No, he
offend you,
didn't.
he said, bless those who persecute you. Love your enemies. Do good to those that persecute you. The opposite
Yeah,
of that, turn the other cheek. So
yeah.
I'm not surprised that we are the object of ridicule among the world for the most part. The different politics and the ethnicities and the religions that are in America and the statistics all on it are very different to over here, for example, in the UK. A large majority of Americans happen to be Christian, so I can understand why he's doing this. He's trying to defend the majority rather than the minority. Over here, it seems like our Prime Minister's doing kind of the opposite of that. So trying to protect a minority rather than a majority. But the problem is you're putting the majority of people's noses out of joint, and I don't see how that's practical as a
Well,
leader.
I don't think it's going to work for the next election, and that's what ruins the party,
Yeah.
because it's not going to work
Yeah.
for the next election, because no one's going to
Yeah.
vote for him, are they?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, surely the guy would have to be completely blind if he honestly thought people would vote for him again, knowing
Some people.
how. Well, maybe some mad people would, but I know I wouldn't. The stupid thing is, my grandfather was an avid Labour voter. He always voted Labour, and I think if he was still alive today, even though he isn't, God rest his soul, he would have been, well, absolutely livid at what they're like today. Because I know what he was like, and he just wanted people in charge that were going to be practical, make things
Common
right,
sense.
just be practical and be simple and just keep it the way it should be, But unfortunately, we have people that aren't so simple and want to make everything so complex and put all these different policies in place and make it harder for the common man for some reason. And I don't know why. I mean, wasn't there a new news thing I was looking up where they were talking about changing the laws so people like ourselves that happen to be Christian would be more likely to put in prison than those of a minority. We think that it's going to go through in the law, but the fact that he's considering it tells you how insane the guy is. Why can't you have just one law for every person and we're all equal?
That's it.
And whatever happened till innocent until proven guilty? With a lot of people in life, we can easily only see it on one side. Yeah, like a coin. There's two sides to a coin. And we often like to just think there's one. And so if all the people we hang around with and all the things we hear about someone is always negative, what are you likely to think about that person? You're going to think negatively, right? So if you've never heard the positive that they've done in life, you can't compare. Because there's always two sides to the coin, right? Now, I've heard loads of really positive testimonies about that guy and the good things he's done. So I personally have had a fairly favourable opinion on the man. And I actually, to be honest with you, maybe that's my nature, and I've always been like this, even from a childhood. Usually it's the bad guys or the people that people don't like the most. Usually I like them more. Because I think, there is, especially seeing it as a Christian principle, is even the worst and vilest sinner can be saved. Jesus' blood can cleanse. That's my opinion, as a Christian, and that's what I believe in what the Bible says. So if that's the case, just because someone seems disgusting and horrible does not mean that that's who and what they are, or that's who they will always be. People can change. Unless you yourself was actually put in a position of leadership, can you really judge? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've talked a lot about Keir Starmer in a negative sense, and I think a lot of people do. But in all fairness, I do think it is important that as Christians we pray for people like this. Yeah, pray for our leaders, even if you can't stand them. We're still called to pray for them. Yeah, and it's easy for us to judge and criticize and point our finger and make funny comments, but until you're standing in that person's shoes, it's hard to say what you might actually do.
Yeah, that's true, Drew.
Yeah,
that's very
but
true.
I would imagine at the same time as saying that, if I was a leader like him, I definitely would not do the things that
You
he's
would
doing
be
and the way he's
leading like
going.
that. Of course you wouldn't.
No
Of
way.
course you would
No
not.
way.
It's not going to
In
work.
fact, yeah, I would pretty much deliberately go to do the opposite of
Yeah.
what he's done.
Because it doesn't make
Um,
sense. That's the thing. It doesn't make sense. The whole thing of how he's doing it really doesn't make sense.
yeah.
So I'm gonna show you another clip, and
Okay.
when he met Zelensky, I don't want this to be the Donald Trump show, because some people be like, "Oh,
No, I know.
But this
Yeah,
is
okay.
politics. This is what's going on now, guys. You know, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna.
the stuff that's going on in the world, whether it's
This
over
is what's
there or over
happening
here.
now. You know, we could be going into World War III in all seriousness here, isn't it?
You
Dave?
don't know, do you? Exactly. It's a possibility. I mean, it might not happen, but then it could. I don't know.
We just
Who knows?
pray for peace. We pray for
Yeah,
peace, that they get negotiation and there be peace.
yeah.
So this
Right.
is Donald Trump again with Zelensky. I think it's something about, you got to watch it, guys. Check this out.
Bless,
You don't
God
know that.
bless, you will not have
gotta-
a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel
I'm-
very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very
Everyone grilled him for doing that, going, "Oh, he's disrespectful. He shouldn't have talked to Zelensky like that." What is your take on it, Dean? What do you think? Was it a disrespectful thing?
Right. I mean, a lot of people are very polarized on things like this. Like I said about with the two sides of the coin, where they'll just see the negative or just the positive. I can see both. Okay. So for me, I see the negative side. It does come across like he's being big-headed or chauvinistic, or, you know, look, I'm greater than you. We're a greater country and we're better and we'll do better things than you. So you better not, you know, all that kind of stuff, right? Seems very bold, very brash. I see that. And it does seem rude to insult a man who is the leader of another country that really, if anything, you want to have good relations with any country, really. Okay. But to come against him does seem like you're burning a bridge there. So that's the negative side of it. And it was a bit insulting. So that's that. I can see where everyone are angry about that. I understand that completely. Yeah. Especially when you consider what they're going for as a nation. Yeah, of course. Everyone's got every right to feel that way. But then there's the other side of it. I see it the other side. Everyone always sees things differently. We can't always, you know, see eye to eye. And maybe from Donald Trump's perspective, he doesn't see him as such a good guy. Now, the other thing is saying about leaders, no one's perfect. It is entirely possible, is it not, that Zelensky might come across as a great guy, but he might actually not be. Yeah?
Yeah.
So just because social media portrays him in a good light, like he's the good guy, does that necessarily mean he is?
No,
You know,
not necessarily.
What is his past? What is he like? I don't know. I'm not making any judgments there. I'm just saying there's always two sides to the coin. And just because you always see positive things about him in the news and they make him out like he's some kind of hero, doesn't mean he actually is. Okay? And you can they can compare him to people like Winston Churchill or whatever. But that doesn't mean that he is. That's all I'm saying. And so everyone has their side, everyone has their reason for believing what they believe in. I don't know quite what to think on that, to be honest with you. I'm 50-50 on it.
Do you think it should have been done on the world stage like that? Because
Came across as like they were bickering with each other. And it's really not a good look for a nation or a leader running nation or nations, because there's two there, isn't there, of course.
yeah.
I think that was a bad move.
That should have been
I
done
think
in the back.
Of course. Why would you do that in front of her? I get the approach. I like Trump's idea of having everything open and everyone seeing everything. I think that's a good idea. However, if it might go that way, inclined, is that something you really want to broadcast to the world?
It's about money.
Yeah.
And we'll have a bit of your resources, and if you do, and it's just, that's what it's all about. It's the war is just money and power. It's just.
Well, this is the thing. You have your normal economy in a society, but you also have a war economy. Okay.
War economy. That's it. That's the
And
word
that's
for
the
it.
thing. When there's
War
wars,
economy.
there's always war economy. And often, before even a war will happen, you'll see, what is it? The amount of times this has happened historically, where countries that pretty much know that they're about to go to war with another country, but they don't know it yet, then
Yeah.
sell arms to them at like a cheap rate or an expensive rate, and they work everything out at just the right way, and then they end up getting, richer off of it. It happens all the time. Yeah. Okay. Then people aren't stupid. I mean, if you're in charge of a country and you can dictate who you go to war with and when and why, it'd be quite easy to make a lot of money out of that, wouldn't it?
In these people's lives, though, this people dying over this. This is the sad thing
Yes,
about it.
that is,
Lives
and
are
they're the ones that get in the crossfire. They're the ones that are in between.
innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I noticed there is a drive in general today in this country alone for people to join the army, isn't it? Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
A lot more adverts, a lot more, well, everything, advertising and pushing that direction.
It,
They know something's going to happen soon, at some point soon, probably. So they need
but
more
this is
troops.
but this is not our war. This is what it's not our fight. It's not the fight.
I know.
It's
That's the
nothing to do
stupid thing
with us.
about it. One way, because we have lenses on, we have glasses on, we see it with a biblical view. But not everybody sees life like that, and not everyone who runs countries sees things like that, and not every group sees things like that. And there's a lot of antagonizing between different groups in
Yeah.
politics. So it's hard to say. We can all say, "Oh, I'd like to get into politics," but I actually think it'd be really tough, tougher than you think, because there might be things you believe and think aren't right, and then the group that you're associated with go against what you believe in, and you're thinking, what the hell do I do now? Right? And then
Mm.
if the group is against their thing, what do? Do you side with those when you're not with them? And what? It's so complicated. It's awkward to navigate.
Yeah.
And you don't
Yeah.
want to be someone who keeps changing ships every time they say, oh, yes to this and no to that, right?
That's true. That's
So
true.
I think it's harder than what it seems. Like we can. It's easy for us to judge and look at it on the outside, but when you're on the inside, I think that'd be a very different story.
It's a different story. All right, then. I
Yeah.
won't get into politics. But I just thought I'd put up all these little clips so people could see, what is going on, what's happening now in the world stage right now. So, Dean, have you got anything else you want to talk about or discuss or bring to the...
No, I think I think a lot of it is mad and maddening, and people get frustrated with it all, and that's rightly so. When you can't make no sense of it, the things that we have in place in a society, the things that what money goes on, aren't practical, aren't realistic,
Mm,
and often seem to have a bias to them sometimes even. So for anyone to be angry about that, rightfully so, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, the people who pay tax, the taxpayers, have to pay for everything. And if the people that are governing society go in the wrong direction, what are you supposed to do about it? Because
nothing.
the word govern or governmentship comes from the word that the meaning of the word or the root of the word actually comes from the meaning of like a captain leading or steering a ship. That's what it
Okay.
means. So they're the ones at the wheel, they're the ones directing where we go. But the thing is, we're the ones that put the funds into it to help the sails keep going, forward. But they're the ones doing the steering.
They're steering in the
Okay?
wrong direction.
And this is the
That's the
thing, if we're the
frustration.
ones that are supporting them financially to
Yeah.
let them do what they're actually doing, who has the real power? Really, it's us. But we don't
Well,
see
that's
that, do
true.
we? And that's
No.
why people are frustrated. It's obvious. So if we are the majority and we're the ones that are paying the money for everything to work and go as it should do, but they're the ones leading, but they direct us in the wrong direction, what are you supposed to do?
Well, you could just stop paying tax.
Yeah, but then what would
Just
happen
drop
to
down. Well, it would crumble, really, wouldn't it?
you? It's
I
awkward
would go
because
to prison as well.
everything that you do and everything that you're linked with and everything in life, it's tax on it. So
Yeah.
we could say no taxes and stop paying and blah blah blah, but it doesn't work like that, does it?
Well, yeah.
There's laws
It's
against
not going to
these things
benefit
as
us.
well. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this is what I'm saying. So it's like there's no way out. You just have to kind of grin and bear it. Everyone that pays taxes decided, right, we're leaving now. We're selling everything we own. We're going to go. We're going to leave. We're going to buy all these islands, and we're going to make that into countries, and we're going to run things the way we want to run. Well, the government that we know and have will have no money all of a sudden. They'll have no fun. They'll have empty houses everywhere. They'll have cars everywhere, but no one to drive
That
them.
could actually work, Dean. That is smart. That could actually work.
Right? Now that is an
You could put all
exodus,
their
isn't
money.
it?
Yeah, it could actually work.
See? We need another Moses.
We need another Moses. Yes, a liberator, deliverer.
Well, you don't know
Those
what
are
everyone
the
believes in. I don't know what everyone thinks, but I'll say this, the way the world's going, don't you think getting on your knees and praying to God Almighty and Jesus Christ, giving him a chance, is worth it, don't you think? The
Yeah,
things
it
got
is.
so bad. I think we need your prayers. Join in, come on, guys. Join the club.
Prayer revival. Everyone just pray, because if things will move, things would shift. God would step into it, and it could turn around.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, miracles happen every day.
Yeah.
Strange things happen every day. Weird things happen every day, and they can't always be explained. So we know there are things that are possible, that seem impossible, and they happen all the time.
Oh, the next one, we'll see you soon on TALKSTASHA. Oh, actually, Tasha and Dean, what in the world?